Welcome to Married AF. We are your hosts, Brooke and Randall Fowler. On this show, we discuss the topics that really matter.
Like big veiny cocks and our favorite TV shows.
So pull up a chair at our kitchen table and hang out.
While I bulldog my nuts.
All right. Hello.
Hi. Hello, people.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. I hope this is working properly and we're on YouTube. Hello,
can you
YouTube.
Can you sound more 100?
Hello, you Tubes.
Can you sound more grandpa, please?
Yes. No, but yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes. I know that some of the people that are getting this may wonder what the fuck we're doing, because they know Randall from the neck surgery.
Yeah, but we also, this YouTube channel, even though I did just change it over to our Married AF YouTube channel.
Cool.
All the podcast feeds have been going to, like, it's just audio, but it's been going to YouTube for a year and some change now. But
well, I mean, I want to give a shout out to those people and kind of make sure everyone's on the same page. A lot of people that follow this YouTube page started subscribing with my first neck surgery video.
Mm-hmm.
And to those people, I want to say, hey, 2.5 years out, neck's doing good. So, boom. Hopefully you stick around, listen, because we also do a podcast together. But, occasionally we'll talk about some neck shit. Hopefully all of you are doing well. I want to go and talk about some sponsors real quick. Married AF is always brought to you by Whax. Whax is the luxury lubricant. It is the top of the line, wet your whistle stuff out there. Okay, it's really good stuff. You get a great discount with our promo code. Go to www.getwax.com. Our promo code is AF20 to save 20% to make your swimming suit part slippery. It's important. Nobody likes to be chafed. Nobody. Vital Tattoo Care is also a sponsor of Married AF podcast. If you got old tattoos like me, and Brooks look a lot better than mine, the shit can work miracles. It can help bring them, make them look a little more lively, make them pop, if you will.
Yeah.
It's all natural, no bullshit in there, and it's really good shit. So check them out at www.vitaltattoocare.com. Use promo code MarriedAF10 to save 10% off that. If you got the tats, go check them out. Underzips, one of my favorite sponsors. American made. They support the military. They support the spouses and children of our fallen heroes by donating $1 of every pair that is purchased goes to Folds of Honor, and helps provide scholarships to the children and spouses of our fallen heroes. Go to www.underzips.com. Use promo code Randy to save 10%. They're underwear. They're the best underwear. They've got little pockets so you can hide your valuables or put them in there if you go to a foreign country. That way you don't get robbed or pickpocketed. It's not going to hold a whole lot, but it'll hold some stuff.
It'll hold like your ID or something.
Yeah, it's legit. Yeah. It's perfect for that. Also, Effing Gear. That's EFFING Gear. Check them out. They're an awesome hat, beanie, t-shirt company. If you like cool shit, check them out. Cool colors, all different kinds of shirts and hats and beanies and shit, like I was saying, but they're just a cool design, very well made. We've got one. We rock it all the time. The Real Men Wear Pink hat. If you head over there to www.effinggear.com, use the promo code MarriedAF, save 10%, and you'll be glad you did. We have sold lots of stuff for them, and by lots, I mean a few. People have bought with our promo code, so buy some more.
Do it.
All right, last but not least, our oldest sponsor, BioBidet. Clean your shitters. clean your poopers with a bio-bidet. Everybody needs a bidet. They're not expensive anymore. You can get them for very cheap. There's no excuse on why you're ruining the earth and the environment with all that paper. So take care of Mother Earth. Use a bio-bidet. Also cleans up your hooter or your cock and balls if you need it to.
All the downstairs parts get cleaned up.
Yep.
Rightly.
Yep. So check them out, biobidet.com. Use the promo code something. I'm stuck here on my page.
Scroll down. It's Married AF.
Married AF in the promo code. Save 10%. Buy some stuff for your bathroom. There's all kind of cool shit there. Cool. All right. So that's our plethora of sponsors. So it's been a while since we recorded an episode.
Oh, it's been a week, yeah.
I know, but just so much has been going on. But I just kind of wanted to do one where we got back to the old school of just kind of shooting the shit.
Back to basics.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just had we haven't had one that's just like a conversation with us.
Sure.
Not so much of the relationship questions, really just more shooting the shit and
current event shit. We've got a
Kinda.
hurricane out there.
Well, let me steer this ship. I'm going to go right
Sorry,
in.
am I taking over?
I'm going to go right into that. I'm looking up the YouTube page. It's Married AF. Is that what it is?
No, baby.
What is it?
Brooke and Randall Fowler.
Oh, I thought you said you changed the name.
No, I never said I was going to do that.
Okay, good. Don't do it.
You asked me which one had all the neck surgery stuff and which one that was posted to, and I told you it was my...
Gotcha.
You're lucky I added your name to it, since your
I
video is the one.
All right, so there it is.
Lucky I added your name to it.
Yeah, there you are. Okay, mute that. Boom, we're there. I was just making sure I
pulled it up on
believed
your
you.
computer, sir.
Yes.
Your computer's already muted. We had it all set.
All right. Do we have anyone watching yet? Does it show that to you?
Yes, 3. Can you just carry
good.
on, sir?
No, I need to know how much of a celebrity.
Jesus Christ, just keep going.
I'm not
sir.
going to keep going. I'm going to put this on hold until I get my answers.
He can't handle the fact that he's not driving this stream thing.
No, I'm fine with that.
And it's killing him.
I'm fine with that.
You should have
But
said it.
we need to do our shots.
We have shots?
Yes, yours is right in front of your bell. This is to celebrate first YouTube live.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We're on the YouTubes. No, I'm putting that way over there. Boy.
It's good stuff.
What's
All
that
right,
called
so
again?
of course, it's the blue balls.
I was going to say the woohoo tits, but
Yeah, definitely can start with Dorian, and I want to give a little background into this. One of my favorite hobbies now is because Brooke loves her, she's fascinated with them. It used to be a big part of what she did for work, so I get it. But so I will take the polar opposite of if she's like, this is going to be a monster, I'll immediately piss her off by saying it's not going to be shit and watch her rage happen. And so this one, it's kind of been, I guess it's been a little bit of both. I mean, it destroyed the Bahamas. There's just no doubt.
well, there's no denying that. And like when I say that, then your immediate argument is like, well, but it didn't come destroy Florida like it was supposed to. And
you get enraged.
well, you don't know. Mother Nature does what the fuck Mother Nature wants.
Babe, it's not, I'm being mean strictly because you buy into it, just like everyone does.
You're acting like hurricanes are conspiracy theory or something.
No, but that's a great point into what I was wanting to say.
That will make me enraged and very stabby.
Chad Fackler in the house, but
Yes.
let me say, I am, as I get older, I believe less shit. And it's getting to be a really bad thing where I don't believe anything that anyone, whether it's government, media, I don't believe any of them, ever. So I immediately take the defensive point of what they say, and it's not right all the time. But I got proven right I was watching CNN today, and let me tell you, this blew my ass away. It's so funny. Talking about the hurricane, it's getting way less coverage now since they were foaming at the mouth with raging boners when it was going to hit the U.S. When it stayed right, of course, that kills their boner. But their meteorologist, had, of course, said it was going to slam Florida, the whole state, when that didn't happen. So they needed shit to talk about. And so they start beating on Trump, who said, he had the picture of one of the first paths and said it was going to hit Alabama, which is ridiculous. And his picture was like it added to the path, like it looked like somebody drew it in Sharpie. But what they don't understand, CNN they have such bad Trump derangement syndrome that anyone could do the exact same thing to them. They're both idiots, both sides of this, and they're it's the pot calling the kettle black, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But if you really think Trump gives a shit or knows anything about, if you don't think someone hands him that sign to show, you're ridiculous. Somebody's telling him everything to say at all times.
Well, and that sounds like a really old statement because originally, yes, the first forecast of that hurricane was that it was going to come straight at west at Florida because it literally looked like it was just going to break Florida off of the country. Yeah. And technically, if it went straight through the state and into the Gulf of Mexico, it could have impacted the Panhandle and out the
Floribama,
the coastal Alabama. So it looks like he was working with old information, or that was something he said back then, and then they're like, check this out.
Well, they're just doing it.
We'll make him look stupid.
Yeah. Which he is a lot of the time.
And of course, he says a lot of ridiculous things. But even when he says not that ridiculous of a thing, they're going to take it. He can't do anything right. And they're zero, nothing. But they won't even admit that the economy is doing better.
But let me tell you this. Back to the hurricane. I'm going to run a couple things by you. First off, right after the report started coming out of the damage, Brooke heard early on about the guy who watched his wife drown.
No, we were laying in bed.
Yeah.
Can you burp some more into the mic, please?
Keep going.
Very gassy.
Keep going.
We were both laying there.
Uh-huh.
I was watching the TV, and that was the first time I saw that. Last night.
Had I taken an Ambien yet? Because if I had, I can't be held accountable for.
I'm sure you were, but you were also looking at your phone.
I don't remember that either. So yeah,
and I even called you out and was like, "Hey, this is all the death and destruction you've been."
Oh, I do remember that.
Foaming at the mouth for. This guy just said he watched his wife drown right in front of his face in a very matter-of-fact way, which made me think and I said this at work today too, first thing in my head, which nobody will be surprised at this, where I was like, nah, man, he just killed his wife and was using the hurricane as an opportunity to cover it up.
Yes. If any of you haven't watched that little interview, just Google it. Guy watches wife drown in Dorian. And I'm sure it'll come up.
I mean, if that ends up being true, it's horrible. And everybody handles grief in different ways. But he was very he looked shooken up as far
skeptical.
as the fact that he was in the middle of a hurricane. He did not look shooken up enough to have just seen his wife drown right in front of his face and then swim out of his house. He said he's like a crab fisherman or something. And he could see his boat. So he swam out of his house to his boat. But it was like their house literally filled up with water, which so many houses did there.
I'm going to call it like it is. I think he was like, you're a terrible swimmer, bitch. I'm free.
Yeah. Hope you can catch up. Oh, weird.
Yeah, because he gave zero fucks. So to me, I actually watched it and comprehended it today, saw it, and I was like, oh, that's so full of shit. I've never seen anyone talk about watching their spouse die
in so matter of fact,
less fucks about it than this guy and even the CNN guys afterwards, after they were done with the interview, were like, and we did check with some sources and people do say he did have a wife, but she's not on the actual listed death report for the Bahamas, but people do say he had a wife, so we're going with it.
And the reason that would be is because at that point, they were focusing on rescuing live people.
Sure.
If people have been reported dead and they're saying that, this person died and they're in there, they're going to come back and get it later. Like, they're going to come back and do, like, recovery of bodies later.
Oh, for sure. And there's going to be lots of dead. I mean, if I'm not going to...
Well, it's up to 20 now.
I'm not going to play devil's advocate with you anymore because the Bahamas got leveled where it hit. I mean, because it stayed there for 3-4 days.
Category 5 for, like, 30-something hours.
It looks like the world's biggest tornado hit the place. And it looked awful and all that.
Basically.
And I'm not trying to make light of that, but what did bother me about it, I was watching shit on it all day today, was everyone in the Bahamas immediately, that when they're interviewing them now, are asking where the U.S. government is. And I'm like, God, it's like we're the cash register. I want to help too, and I don't want it to sound that way, but there are people coming on in their first interview denouncing America like we should have done more to not let Dorian destroy their country.
Okay, well, that's not possible.
And that we should be letting everyone come in here without a visa and flying their families here to get them out. Like that, all that shit costs so much money, and it's like we're the fucking cash register of the world. It drives me insane. It really does. And it's never been more blatant. I feel terrible for the people there, but for one, don't live out in the ocean.
So
that's the first thing. I know it's like a paradise
that's
place.
That's the risk that you take when you live in an island in the middle of the ocean.
Don't live in the ocean.
It's, yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for you, but you know, move.
Terrible.
Get out of there. Go there for a week in the summer and leave. I mean, I can't believe it hasn't happened before. Like a million, I would just think they get hit by these all the time.
Well, they do. They do, but they don't get hit by a Category 5 that just chills right on top of them for
0 miles an hour,
almost 2 days. Yeah, I mean that's unprecedented and tragic and awful. But I'm really gonna want to follow that story with that guy because I want to find out if he just murdered his wife and let the hurricane wash the evidence away.
I smell a great conspiracy brewing with that, and of course it would be CNN that would run it, find out there's fuckery. And then have to see how they spin the shit because, you know, of course they want to be first. So they're willing to cut corners on what's, you know, their fact checking.
Well, they wanted to run it because it's a tragic story.
If it's really, absolutely. 100%.
But the way the guy told it was very strange.
If I was the camera guy or the interviewer, I'd have been like, all right, hang on, let's stop that one.
No, the guy that was like holding the mic was like, what?
You are doing this badly.
You're not pulling this off, sir. I'm going to need you to like shed one tear at least, or act like maybe not say it like you lost your like
dog, maybe,
or refrigerator. I mean, a dog too. I would think he should be more tore up.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't believe any of his shit. I know it's very possible, but he was like, I was getting hit by all my appliances, and I believe it. They were probably floating around hitting him, but the dude looked way too together for that bad of an experience to have just happened to him, including his wife, because he was like, the way he described it was she was just standing on top of the cabinets because she was, you know, highest level, and they like said she had hypothermia. She was having hypothermia at the time. First, so why are you letting her just stand alone? Why are you across the room while she's standing on the cabinets with hypothermia? Are you not holding her for body heat and shit?
No, and then he's like, she got hypothermia and then she drowned. And I was like, wait.
He said she just peacefully took a gulp of water and died.
I don't remember him saying anything about peacefully. I just remember him like very just like.
So she swallowed a gulp of water and was gone.
It was just
don't
so
believe
weird.
You. Don't buy it.
So strange. And
you don't buy it either.
I don't buy it, but I'm going to feel terrible if that's like really what went down and that's just his way of processing something like that. I got to see the
body at this point.
I just feel like he's a stone cold savage that's like.
He could be some single motherfucker that made it all up just to get, because he knows he's going to get some playtime.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a hurricane survivor, but he could also have been like, oh, hey, camera, CNN. My wife died in front of my eyes.
Maybe.
Because the story wasn't even good enough. All right, but I want to go on the next thing. Dave Chappelle's new special.
I loved it.
So fucking good. Anybody in the chat
I've
that's
watched it twice now.
I know, we watched it. I've watched it 1.5 times.
You didn't pay any attention the first time we watched it.
Very little.
I was laughing and you were, I don't know what you were doing. You were internet fighting with somebody or tweeting and stuff and not paying attention. I was like, look, watch this. And so then we watched it the other night and It's
Oh, it
hilarious.
was fucking fantastic.
So good.
That dude, at this point, he's such a goat. It doesn't matter. I mean, because there's the small handful of course, snowflakes that are griping and all tore up about his content. 99.9% of the country, even the snowflakes, say that was an amazing stand-up special. Even the sensitive bitches. You got to be the double sensitive bitches to be. Because he flat out just said, I believe Mike didn't do shit. And if he did, And honestly,
I'm with
a lot of people are like that. They just won't say it. A lot of people.
Me.
Mike gets a pass with a lot of folks. You know,
I'm one of those.
I still love some Mike.
I won't watch that documentary just because, I mean, and I've heard about the like staring at butthole thing, but I don't know. Nope, not watching it because I just want to stay.
I think my favorite part was the LeBron James.
DJ agrees, by the way, that new special was amazing too.
All the transgender talk in America, and he was like, all right, so let's just say LeBron James decides to be a woman. Does he go play in the WNBA and score 840 points a game? What's equal?
I know, that's tough. We talked about that on the roundtable one time.
And the fact that he wore a ridiculous onesie and, wearing all his own shit. It was like a Top
Gun flight suit.
Have you noticed how much, because I've been a Chappelle fan forever, so have you, how much his voice has changed from all the cigarettes
I was going to say, because he smokes cigarettes.
His voice used to be so high, and he still can kind of get it if he gets into jokes.
He's real gravelly now.
But now that dude's voice is like fucking deep. And, I mean, you hear the throat cancer.
That's what cigarette smoke does. And the marijuana
all the smoky smoke.
Yes, but mostly cigarette smokes.
But good God, I love some Chappelle. What else was good from that? The whole thing was good.
The whole thing was good.
Oh, the juicy smoulet.
Oh my God! Every time he said that,
the juicy smoulet. The French actor.
The French actor.
Holy shit!
Mr. Smouillet.
When the guy's taking the police report. Okay, so what were we doing? I was walking outside. Minus 16 degrees. Okay. And where were you going? Subway. Well, sandwiches. Okay. It was so fucking good.
Oh,
and it's, he just pretty much attacked, I think, as a fan. Like, he just decided, I'm going to do a special and attack everything that everybody is griping about. Mm-hmm. And everyone thinks it's genius. That shows you that we can be less divided when we want. We decide when and where we're divided, which makes you realize a lot of it's bullshit because literally everyone agrees, besides the stupid people that should leave the earth, that was a great special.
That was fantastic. Whatsky's in here too, by the way.
Whatsky. Oh, hell yeah, it was so good. I'm telling you. Am I leaving out the best? I think the best part was Juicy.
Juicy Smouillet.
Juicy Smouillet. What else did he talk about in that special?
I don't know.
We got the Juicy.
Suicide.
What suicide? Remind me.
He talked about suicide. It was more at the beginning where he's like, he's like, Anthony Bourdain killed himself. He had the coolest job in the fucking world. And then he talked about his buddy that got married and divorced in law school. And then 10 years later saw him at Foot Locker. And he was like, did you ever think about, why didn't you ever just think about killing yourself?
Yeah, it never occurred to him to kill himself.
Never occurred to him to kill himself. So basically he was saying you never know what the fuck's going on in somebody's head. But it was amazing. Dude,
you know what else was good? The Kevin Hart thing. When he's talking about Kevin Hart and he was Kevin Hart fucking, wanted to fucking host the Oscars. He's fucking, gonna do it. Then they bring up the old ass tweets and the bullshit.
Well, he said he's nearly perfect.
And
he's perfect except for 4 tweets.
He's perfect from 4 tweets and the fact that he loves to fuck. I mean, that's Kevin Hart. He's been caught cheating more times than anybody I know.
Chappelle
and we read his
that.
book, and so of course Chappelle didn't run him over with that. But anyway, that's not my point. The point was where he was and so he stood his ground and said, bitch, I ain't doing it. And 6 weeks later he went on TV, and then he went on TV and apologized for 6 weeks.
He went on a 6-week tour apologizing.
Dude, poor Kevin Hart, man. What about that wreck? Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you this right now. That's his fault. He's an idiot. Let me tell you why. first off, he goes and buys a 1970 Barracuda, loaded to the tits, doesn't know how to drive a muscle car. That's always what happens. I have so many buddies growing up that wreck their Chevelles because they don't realize how light in the ass they are and how much fucking torque is going to the back tires, and they fucking lose control every time they take a turn and slam on the gas. That's what his buddy did, and he should have died. If you've seen the car, it's unreal that he lived.
How bad was his friend hurt?
They were all hurt pretty bad. Like, I mean, I think everybody's going to be okay, but Kevin Hart had to have some kind of major back surgery.
Yeah. Oh, I know. He just had surgery. I just didn't know like how bad
But he is lucky to be alive. What saved him is good old American muscle car ingenuity when those cars were made out of metal.
Built
if
like
it
a
was
tank,
a fucking today's Corvette, they'd all be dead.
Made out of plastic.
Yeah, the whole thing would have exploded. They'd be deader than fuck. Mm-hmm. Speaking of wreck, I watched a guy die last week. Haven't talked about that yet.
I was telling people at work about that because it was a really bad wreck in Atlanta. One of those ones where like everybody in the city that even remotely casually watches the news knew about it. Like everybody knew about it because it was horrific. I mean, I'll let you tell it, but I mentioned somebody was talking about it in the office the other day, and I was like, my husband saw that happen and was right next to the guy and literally saw the crash and saw him die.
So I'm coming out from downtown Atlanta from a meeting with a client. I'm coming up the interstate on 75. Was
it north? You were going north?
This is me. This is him. He's in a Silverado. We're driving. He starts to take the HOV exit.
Left-hand exit.
In Atlanta. So he's going up. He hits the rail guard, you know, the concrete sides.
Barriers.
Corrects and comes back to the middle, never slows down. So immediately I'm like, oh shit, he's drunker than fuck. He's fixing to slam into the wall.
It's like 2 p.m. too, by the way.
And he corrects back in the middle. Then he hits the edge again, and we're going like this so I can see it all. That motherfucker is going 80 miles an hour. And I'm like, he's almost to the intersection. And the intersection where he's going is at least 3 or 4 stories high. And it's in
an
downtown
exit that
Atlanta.
Goes up to an overpass.
And it's a 3-point stop. So you got people stop this way and him coming this way. And then a barrier and a 50-foot fucking drop
it's like
down
a
to the interstate.
T-shaped, yeah. So
as I'm going, I'm like, that motherfucker's going too fast. I'm going to see him come off the edge. I get to about here, see his truck coming down from fucking through the concrete barrier, lands on his nose on his driver's side. So immediately he's dead. His truck's on fire. I'm watching out of my rear view.
So Randall passed under the overpass. The guy came flying up the exit, through the concrete barricade, over the side.
Yeah.
And burst into flames. And I mean, like he was smashed to bits when he got on the other side. It was awful.
The only thing that makes me think it was a suicide is this. That's the only exit in Atlanta where there's like a landing pad where you're not going to come off into traffic.
Into traffic, yeah.
There's like a half a football field of asphalt.
It's basically like hey, cops need to park here and catch speeders.
Oh, it's definitely that.
Like one of those giant like shoulders off the side of the interstate that's just there for cops to park and catch speeders. But there was somebody on the news, because I thought maybe like my first thought was either some kind of for somebody to intentionally kill themselves doing that is, for one, risky. You don't know that you're going to die. Like you don't know that concrete barrier isn't going to hold, and you're not just going to be like
crushed legs and
paralyzed or a vegetable for that's why I'm not sold on that theory. My first thought was that he was having a seizure and maybe or
in
passed
and out of consciousness.
Yeah, and because I've seen people do that, like crash into gas stations because they had a seizure while they were driving. Buff had that problem too, where he couldn't drive for a while. Yep. But then I saw somebody on the news that said they were sitting at that stoplight at Acres Mill, right? Like he came up blazing off the exit and actually swerved around them and hit the barricade and went over. So if he would have kept going straight, he would have plowed into them, potentially knocking them over the fucking interstate too.
Maybe, but killing them.
Probably
at
killing
80
them
miles an hour
because he would have T-boned them.
Yeah.
And so then my final theory was that something malfunctioned with the truck itself, like the cruise control stuck or something, which
that was my second thought.
Would have had to have been just absolutely terrifying for that poor guy. But
which it shows you though that people you never know how you're going to react in a situation like that, right? Because most people with common sense would know, like if your accelerator is stuck and you're driving, here's what you do. Of course, first off, you do like the movie Speed and you drive till it runs out of gas. You can do that. That's going to take a long time and you got to risk hitting people. What you should do, throw that bitch in neutral. The motor will blow. You'll come to a stop.
Emergency brake.
You could do the emergency brake. You could try to slam it into park. You could take the key out. Like all those things before you do the, hell, I'm just going to drive this son bitch.
Well, maybe it was like the horrible luck that was the first exit he saw. So he was like, I'm just going to get off. So I don't.
Oh, yeah. What a bad pick.
Yeah. So I don't hurt anybody or something. And then like he gets off and it's terrible. It's awful. And yeah, Randall seemed a little like not shook, but like.
Oh, I was shook. I remember driving off because I saw people stopping.
At that moment,
so I didn't stop because it was already a melee. And my boss, Mike, told me that somebody did get it on cell phone video of him coming off, and YouTube took it down.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, if somebody got it on YouTube, they probably got my truck.
Probably coming out from under the overpass.
I mean, if he would have come into traffic, like if it didn't have a landing, he would have landed right behind me. Mm-hmm. Like he would have, boom, like 10 feet behind me because I saw the whole The sound was so bad.
Oh, my God, I bet.
And, I mean, the whole thing's terrible. When you know somebody just died, the hole that truck left in the asphalt, I looked at it the other day coming back. It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that like a wreck just like that has happened before in Atlanta. Watsky said it's amazing more people don't crash like that in Atlanta. It's worst traffic ever. That's 1,000% correct.
So true.
But there was an accident like that at another overpass.
A bus.
It was a bus full of like baseball players.
At night, though.
At night. And they were in the HOV lane. And it was one of those things where it's like the HOV lane kept going straight, but there was also an exit that went up. And the driver was kind of sleepy or something. And it was at night. And he just didn't realize he was getting up at the exit and did the same thing. Just went right over the overpass and it killed a bunch of them. It was terrible. And it was not like the one that you saw where there was like a big, like open, like landing shoulder.
Yeah,
it was onto the interstate. It was late at night, so there wasn't a whole lot of traffic. But I remember that road right there was fucked up because like where the bus crashed and was on fire and shit, and it was terrible. Like that road, they had to repave it and stuff. But now they also added like 1,000 blinking lights and like signs that are like, this is an exit, and like huge stop signs at the top of the exit for like to let you know, and like all these shits like fucking stop.
Those barriers, though, I mean, they're like...
In this situation, that wouldn't have even mattered because it wasn't like he didn't see it, obviously, but...
No. I mean, I would love to wonder what that guy was fucking thinking. But, I mean, he flew through the air. It's crazy. It was just like the Dukes of Hazzard. Like, it's crazy.
He was far from, like,
that son of a bitch plowed through tons of concrete. Of course, and that may have killed him right then. It probably crushed his legs.
Yeah, it was like those big concrete.
He took the whole section.
I feel like I was shocked that he so easily blew through those things. I thought those things were fucking. The
Department of Transportation though came out real quick. I'm talking about within minutes they had shit out.
Yes.
Not made to withstand a head-on collision at 80 plus miles an hour because there was not a skid mark in sight. He never braked. He never braked. He never broke. How would you say that? I
don't know. I think both sound correct.
Is it he never braked? Watsky, DJ, somebody tell me. Is it he never braked or he never broke?
He never hit the brakes. There you go.
Okay, never hit the brakes ever. So yeah, who knows? That shit was crazy though. But on to the next. I also want to talk about the recent shooting in Texas. Another one. Old Texas coming in hot with the mass shootings. Shout out to Texas.
Damn.
Crazy shit. I don't know what's going on there, but this fucker just, I think he was recently fired from a job.
He was fired that day. But I saw one of the FBI guys on. It was like that wasn't the reason. He was already like showing signs of being mentally unstable. Like people at his work and I think even his family had mentioned like he wasn't acting right like days leading up to it. So I don't they didn't necessarily think that the being fired is what triggered it. I think it was like this was gonna more than likely happen anyways, is what they made it sound like. But he got pulled over? Is that what it started?
Yeah, he got
like
pulled over.
Stop?
Yeah, and then that motherfucker got loose from that, then jacked a mail van. And that's why they thought there was possibly 2 shooters at one point.
Because it was 2 different vehicles.
But I'm just, what is it about tech? Because here's the truth. Like, it's actually the worst place on earth to try to get crazy because so many people are armed there. But I guess that's why they're targeting it, because they know it's a hot zone right now. These idiots that are fucking the worst shit on earth doing these mass shootings.
I'm waiting for like a citizen, though, to take out one of these motherfuckers.
I know. I would expect that to be the case more often in Texas.
Right?
That more people would be popping these bitches. But here's what's going to happen. Of course, you got I think it's like Beto O'Rourke, the guy that's running for the Democratic nomination for president down there, and he's milking the tit of these mass shootings like crazy. Right in the forefront. Just it makes me vomit how much he's using it for political gain, any of them. But he flat out said his platform is now the mandatory government buyback of AR-15s and AK-47s. That if you own them, if he becomes president, you gotta sell them sons of bitches back to the government. And my whole thing about that is, I would be fine with that if the government could pass a background check. And our government would never pass a fucking gun background check. Ever. I don't trust them fuckers for shit. I know I asked that question on the roundtable just because it's interesting to me, because my answer to that is 0 hell to the no. I don't trust the motherfuckers at all. I'm not selling back shit. But I think that's what they implemented in Australia with their big gun thing, was a buyback.
That was a long time ago.
I know, but I think that's how they went about doing it. But our government can't even unanimously decide on rational gun control, like just better background checks.
There's going to be a middle ground somewhere.
Closing the loophole on these gun show loopholes and shit. Can't even agree to that. So if you think that's going to pass, sir, you're a fucking idiot. Good luck to you, though, sir. Wish you well in your loss for the nomination. It's pretty much decided. Old creepy Joe Biden is going to win that. Could that guy be more dumb and a worse candidate?
Oh, could that?
That creepy bastard. Jesus. I think they're going to end up having to pull old Hillary's old corpse out of the bullpen for,
that's what
for a 15th
that was
run.
another thing. No, that was another thing Chappelle said. He was like, or no, was that in the Q&A after that we were watching, where it was like somebody asked him about the election, and he was like, I think the left can't figure out who the fuck they want to put. Like, nobody can get their shit together. They're going to put Joe Biden up there. That's going to for sure hand Trump the presidency. Trump's over there grabbing pussies, and he's like can't figure out shit.
Poor Joe, but he's such a bad candidate. He's the equally bad candidate as Hillary was, and that's the unfortunate thing. There's some decent candidates out there in the Democratic Party.
Whatever.
But they don't have a big enough head of steam to, take over this monster. First off, there's a very slim chance Joe Biden is going to live through a term. That son of a bitch is old as fuck. Mm-hmm. But you add on top of that the fact that, can you imagine how creepy he's just creepy. I don't care what your politics are. Can we all agree that Joe Biden is creepy?
Yes.
Super creepy. I wouldn't want him touch. There's a new thing where he was talking to some woman, and he just moved toward her, and she flinched like a motherfucker. Just because all the shit about him, how much he touches people, and I don't know, it's just fucking weird. I can't stand it. Did you see the video of the dude? They talked about this on The Fighter and the Kid. The video of the guy during the bar robbery in St. Louis. Have you looked at that? Mm-mm. There's footage of this robbery that happened in St. Louis at a bar. This guy sitting there. He's smoking or he's about to smoke. And this guy comes in with a shotgun to rob the bar. All the other patrons and shit are, of course, freaking out and ducking under the bar and shit. Mm-hmm. This fucker that has nothing to lose lights up a cigarette, never moves, never gets scared. He's talking shit to the guy with the gun. Like, never giving shit. This is a guy who clearly his wife has left him. He's got nothing to live for. He doesn't give two shits, and the guy never fucked with him that robbed the place, because he is a scary man. When a man has nothing to lose and nothing to live for, that's way scarier than some dude robbing a bar.
Well, the guy coming in with a gun is like,
I think he just called his bluff. It was like, bitch, you're not gonna do shit.
Well, exactly. Most people aren't, especially if they're using it to like take control and try and just get money. Like, their intentions typically are not to actually kill somebody. Now, there's plenty of psychos out there, like we just talked about before, that will just open fire on a bunch of innocent people. But
yeah, most of them aren't going to do it. But did you hear?
No, that's gangster. That guy was like, "Fuck you."
Did you catch Apple's apology recently for their fuckery with Siri? What Siri's doing?
No.
If anybody needs proof that Siri records everything, that they know everything, and that they listen to us through our phones.
So do our Google Homes and Alexas.
Yeah, but
and
just
all that.
Google the recent Apple apology where they flat out admitted Siri is recording you fucking everything, and that there are contractors that listen to that shit and sort through it.
Oh my God, sure.
And
you know how many iPhones are out there?
It's not even Apple employees. It was normally contracted. It's for the technology. But you have to go and read it. But just so you know, next time you're power fucking,
who cares?
Just remember, Siri's grading that ass. Can you imagine being one of those contractors like that are sorting through it and it's like, we got another one, Dave. He's really giving it to her.
To me, like,
we are being so watched. It's unreal.
Who cares? If you're not doing anything wrong, though, like, that's...
I agree. I mean, I'm not narcissistic enough. I'm plenty narcissistic, but not enough to be like,
listen to my fucking phone all day. You're going to be bored out of your goddamn skull. Yeah. Except for, like...
For the 6 minutes in heaven that you're going to get at some random point during the day.
But other than that, it's going to be a whole lot of...
I still want to know if it's real or not, though. How much that we can talk about something and then it shows up in ads on our phones.
Well, no, that's real. That's been proven to be real.
I know,
so we know, like, that's the thing. We know that, but it's AI listening. It's not a dude like in a booth with headphones on. No, you got to
read the apology. Apple acknowledges it is a dude in a booth that was sorting through it for the research on the technology that they use, and they acknowledged that the ones that they were listening to included sexual encounters between people, yada, yada, yada. So I'm just saying, I'm fine with it. I don't give a shit.
I'm just saying, like, do you know how many fucking iPhones are out there in the world?
Lots.
Billions.
Am I saying Donald Trump is sitting there listening to your fucking...
No, you said it was Apple.
Yeah, but there's some dudes out there listening to your shit, getting it on.
I don't think anybody's listening to, like, our stuff personally. And there's got to be, like, some control group somewhere that, like, they checked a box for
there's criteria, I'm sure.
And didn't realize what they were checking that box for. Like, Big Brother's listening for sure.
Oh,
but I don't know.
No, there's nothing you can do. I mean, nothing. Yeah. DJ said he worked with a guy named Hunter for a day, and he was getting hunter gear added by the end of the
hunting gear.
Dude, let me tell you, today we just thought about Halloween costumes and stopped by Spirit Halloween, and I started getting Halloween costume emails, ads.
I did
everything.
Text you something about one too today. So that.
But I mean, it's happened to me before where I swear I've never said it. I've just thought it.
Okay, that's
and the
not
shit
true.
Comes
that's
in.
not true.
Chris Wutsky believes in aliens. It's real, isn't it, Wutsky?
I do believe that you don't have to actually search for it on your phone or type it in anyway. Like, it does hear what you're saying and then but it was even just like in text messages and stuff between us, and it started. Goddamn right.
I want to know though, who all here, raise your hand if you watched John Wick 3. Okay, good. I loved it. I've loved, of course, every John Wick is amazing
awesome
to me, but I still can't quite figure out the end of this storyline. Like,
there's not an end.
I know, but he was trying to redeem
it's good,
himself.
DJ, you should watch it.
Yes, DJ, you should watch it. I don't want to spoil it for you, so.
But they all kind of end in a way that it's like.
Well, there's going to be a fourth.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. He's talked about it.
And
but
I think that's on purpose. It's going to be like Fast and the Furious. There's going to be John Wick 13 in a few years.
So my whole thing about it, I wanted to ask the listeners to think on this and tell, who do they think would win in a battle to the death between John Rambo and John Wick?
John Wick. John Rambo doesn't have as much of like the hand-to-hand, like up close skills.
Man, I don't know. God, what a cool ass blood. I'm talking about the John Rambo
from the 80s.
in Rambo 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, from, when he's in top-notch shape. But, I mean, Keanu Reeves is 75 years old, and he looks 35.
Is still fine.
And he can throw down. I don't know, man.
He's awesome.
John Wick is the shiz
And that
tits.
fucking dog, I want to squeeze his face. He's so cute.
Yeah, good. Pit bulls are always awesome. But so, I don't know. Scott says he thinks John Rambo, he was a sneaky fucker. I agree. I think that's where John would have Rambo would have the advantage, is in the military warfare. Mm-hmm. Plus, I don't know if it's possible to kill Rambo. I'm excited about the new one.
To kill John Wick.
It's true. It may not be, but the new Rambo that's coming out.
Oh Jesus!
I can't wait. I know we're supposed to be over it by now.
75. Literally 75. Keanu Reeves is like 50 something and looks spectacular. You gotta admit, Sylvester Stallone he's old as shit. I mean, he's
still killing the game though, and he's 110.
He is for his he's killing it, but he's old.
He's very old, but the motherfucker's still jacked for his age.
Yeah, him and Arnold both.
And bringing the fucking pain. I don't know.
Sure,
John Rambo and John Wick, if they collide, I think everybody should leave the planet. Mm-hmm. That it would be a fucking disaster. Mm-hmm. But that's probably my favorite series now, the John Wick series. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah. Oh, and now I mentioned that. Did we even mention our creature features? I know we just recorded the intro for the other one.
No, but this is a good, John Wick is a great, because there's a tie in there.
Yes, that's what made me think of it.
Yes.
So we are part of the Civilized Creatures Podcast Network, and we feature one of our fellow podcasts on each episode. We're doing a double up on this one because we recorded an episode last week. We just did the intro. So for last week, and this week, we've got the Bear Cave podcast, which is John Buchanan's new podcast, The Podfather. That show will be coming out shortly.
Let me give you one nugget about how good The Podfather is, okay? I was about to quit podcasting last night. Actually, I did quit podcasting last night for about
an hour.
10 hours. What happened in our mixer shit out. We had no idea how to fix it. We were lost. We were going to burn the whole studio to the ground.
I wasn't but
I text John, said, John, the mixer shit out. I quit. He replies back to me. It takes one text. He says, okay,
are
a bunch of lights on? I said, yes. He said, so I sent him a picture. He said, do this now. I did that. Replied to him, done. He said, well, did you fucking see if you can hear yourself now? I put on my headphones, and it was working fine. That's all it took. The Podfather is the GOAT for a reason.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with the powerful John
And I knew he'd be able to help us.
Chris Wutsky said he stopped because I went live for a minute for mine and Joe B's. It was for me and Joe B. We have a show called Throwing Smoke. It's an MMA show. It's a collaboration with the powerful Inner Circle podcast network and Civilized Creatures. And Joe B is just sitting there waiting. And I went ahead and went live because I expected it to work, and we couldn't get our audio to work. And I wish I could see my face, Chris. I guarantee it'd be a run for who looked more miserable, me or you on the podcast of the Round Table last Thursday.
Yeah, it was, and it was only.
I think it's hard to look more miserable than Wutsky looked. There's a couple pictures floating out on the internet of Wutsky's face.
Oh, I took a picture of the stream and posted it somewhere and was like, sums it up.
Dude, that's one of the times I've actually looked at Wutsky as like, motherfucker looks a little mean.
I was doing everything in my power to try and get him to smile. Like, he was not having it.
I actually talked to Jody B by text a couple times, and he even said he was about to pull his nuts out just to try to get Wutsky to smile.
Turn on the camera and all right, so John is the best, the Podfather. I knew with 1,000,000% certainty that John was going to be able to help us with the mixer. It just sucks that like you were trying to record episode 2 of your. Like,
it's always
show.
how that happens in this.
They'll get it done though when Joe gets back from vacation or wherever he's going. Y'all will get it done. Because now we're working. And so our other creature feature is the Cinemondo podcast. This is where the John Wick tie-in is. So my half sister Kathy and her co-hosts Mark and Burke host the Cinemondo podcast. It's badass. They talk about a bunch of movie shit, mostly horror and strange and weird old movies. And Kathy is a very talented artist, and her husband is also a very talented artist, and he did a painting or a couple paintings.
He did the very first John Wick poster.
The very first John Wick poster. He also he designed it, created it, and then he also did a painting that is fucking incredible.
Yeah, they're so talented.
Of John Wick that is now hanging in Kathy's office, but yeah, I mean it's every time I feel like every time we mention something, Kathy will be like, "Hey, my husband did the poster for that," and I'm like,
I mean, any movie they could do 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon and do it within 1 degree.
No, they could do probably one directly to Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
I mean, they've got direct links to the show Lost and all kind of movies, and they're just cool. They got really cool insight. If you listen to that show, you want to know how Hollywood works. Not just from like the actor's perspective, but they've got a little bit of everything because they got amongst the 3 hosts that are all very talented. You got screenwriters, you got artists, all just every angle of the shit, and they all love horror, pop culture, even just odd movies that aren't necessarily horror, but like we share an affinity for Toxic Avenger, Swamp Thing, those kind of movies. And I love them, but it's just funny. I put this on Twitter in our Twitter group earlier, but you got Kathy and her husband are artists. Brooke is an artist. She paints and amazing drawer and all that shit. And then me, I'm Uncle Randy. I don't have an artistic bone in the body, so I'm definitely the asshole, the caboose of the foursome. But I mean, somebody's got to be the caboose.
Whatever.
But yeah, it's funny. Very talented folks at Cinemondo, and everybody knows the Podfather. That show, we got to support it because it's John's 75th different podcast that he started in his career. And this one needs to be the one that sends him into podcast lore. I think he's on his way. People are starting to, there's a lot of traction around John now, how talented he is for a multitude of reasons. He's also got that fiery fucking Philly temper, that
New
Jersey Philly grind.
I laughed so hard at that in that group text that we have with like Adam and them, where John said something about I have a hot head, like short fuse temper, and Adam was like, Jesus, do you have to embody like everything New Jersey?
Yeah, no, he does. It's funny though. Scott says Toxic Avenger was the shit. Toxic Avenger, if you're near our age and you haven't refreshed yourself on it, that was a deep.
All you've been doing is burping this entire show.
Yeah, I had a little heartburn today. It's kicking up. We had Cuban food for dinner.
Oh
shit,
Big E.
that's Big E from Karaoke Big E. Good God, that's awesome. Hey, so question for him. I believe, did you just have your nose corrected?
Like you
I'll
did?
wait for your reply. Yeah, I think he a couple weeks ago had the same nose surgery that I had.
Oh, Randall just wants to know if you are as miserable as he was forever after that surgery. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I've had my neck rebuilt. I've had millions of surgeries. None of them were as bad as my nose surgery. He hated that one
so much.
The recovery was the worst shit on planet Earth.
I don't ever. I mean, like, no, you're not a great patient as far as like listening to what the doctor tells you. Like after the carpal tunnel surgery, the doctor ridiculously is like, keep the bandage on for 10 days. I'm like, 10 fucking days? Like that was ridiculous to me. Randall gets home 6 minutes later, has it off, which I fully expect. I mean, like I thought 10 days was a little much, but like with his neck surgery, he was great. But after this nose surgery, he was miserable. Like,
dude, have you pulled
all the
out,
checkups?
Have you pulled out any of the massive brain boogers yet?
Gross.
I took pictures of those motherfuckers. Oh my God. And I'm like OCD about I can't have shit in my nose. So of course that made me a terrible candidate to have my nose reopened. But it was the follow-up appointments to interrupt you. Yes. The fucking debridements that they would call them that you have to go to.
They're basically like flushing out your freshly surgerized nose.
Oh yeah, they go
like
in there with poles. No, they put a metal rod up in your brain, and they give you supposedly this numbing spray that doesn't do shit except make you want to throw up. It doesn't numb it, and then they jam the rod to your brain. Because I even asked him, I said, "Are you near my brain?" He said, "Yes, I'm very close to your brain."
What? He's gonna barf. However, you can breathe.
Oh, finally, yes. Eventually, much better.
You had the surgery like a year ago-ish. And I don't know how long it was after, but you can breathe. You can be around like dust and things and like pollen and not be immediately blocked up. Like
a sinus infection.
Randall would walk outside in the springtime and it would sound like he snorted 12 kilos of cocaine.
20 pounds.
He would not be able to breathe, constantly sniffling. I literally always,
I had
certain times of the year, I'd be like, what's happening? So it's been a world of difference.
Well, it was the cause of my sleep apnea. And so I got a CPAP years ago. And then after the surgery, I could have stopped using the CPAP. But now I'm hooked to the motherfucker. I mean, for my health, I could stop using it.
Yes, for the
but
snoring.
Stopping the snoring, which you hate, no, I need it. But I couldn't sleep without it every night now.
And it's, even if you, like, it's been a huge difference even with your snoring. Because, like, I'm glad you like sleeping with it because it guarantees you're not going to snore. Because even if you're not wearing it, it just depends on how you're laying. Because you're not one of those guys that, like, yes, if you lay on your back, you're going to snore. But, like, if I tell you to roll over, it doesn't, even if you're on your side, just your anatomy, like, rolling over on your side, even, like, because you don't have a neck, really, like, everything just kind of, like, it smushes, and then, like, you're still snoring, so then I'm like, fuck. And so I appreciate the CPAP still. Like, it's more of just, like, a...
I'm telling, dude, those things are so addicting. It's incredible that now I could not sleep without it.
Oh,
I hate that because I thought I was going to be off of it.
I know.
And now I'm like, give it back to me. Give me my blankie. You know, it's
but it helps you sleep better, so use it.
It is, and it's the white noise. It's the everything.
And it, like, because when you're snoring like that, I know you're not getting good sleep. There's no way that when you're like making those horrible breathing noises that you're getting quality sleep. There's no way.
I mean, did you have to get stents in there, Biggie? Did they have to put stents in your nose? Because they were able to avoid stents with mine, but just barely. And the doctor even was like, I probably should have used it. Biggie says he's pushing 370. Sure, yes, sir.
Dude, get a CPAP. Yeah, he said sleep studies. Go get it'll change your life. I swear.
Oh, it was great, and you'll probably lose some weight. Honestly, there's science behind that it will help you if you're.
Well, because if you're like you're not getting good sleep now,
your CO2 is higher in your body, so it helps lower that, and you can actually drop. People drop. I got a buddy that actually dropped like 30 pounds just from starting his CPAP.
Yeah, quality sleep is a life changer. Like, it improves your quality of life exponentially.
You look ridiculous. It's not sexy. There's no way it's sexy, but you put it on right before you go to sleep. But yeah, I mean,
Get the sexy time out of the way first.
Oh, for sure. Don't put it on and then roll over to your lady and be like, "Hey, honey," because you're never going to win.
Oh,
that
I know
fight.
for sure. Like, I mean,
It's a wrap if I put it on.
If you put it on before anything's done, yeah, I mean, I know, which is fine because usually that means we've just done it.
Yes.
Before, but yeah, he said he's up every 2 hours. That probably means you're having like those events during your sleep way more. Like you're probably stop breathing, like because you didn't have a ton
at 11,
right? But I've heard of people that had like 80.
Hundreds. Shane Brazelton had like hundreds.
Yeah,
bearded dad. Shout out to that bastard.
You need to go get on that sleep study because it's a life.
The sleep study's a nightmare though. They gave me the thing to take home and you put it on your forehead and it's got tubes and. That fucking thing sucked. You had to get at least like 15 hours over a weekend on it. And of course I tried it, took it right off, and then only had the last night worth of sleep that I had to wear it the whole time.
Yeah, when you did that, that's when, because most people go to those centers to do a sleep study. I was like, well, Randall's never doing that. Unless like the scientists want to come to our house in our bedroom and just sit there. But I knew that wasn't going to happen. And then when you brought the thing home, I was like, oh, well, this isn't going to work. Like, you're never going to get good results. And even if you do get results that say you need a CPAP, I was convinced that you were going to get the fucking machine and then you were going to be miserable taking it off. I was relieved when you were like, oh, no, this is good.
Yeah.
Like, you literally, the first few nights you used that CPAP, I remember you even saying, like, I got the best sleep of my life. Like, I didn't even take a nap today, which is like, if you know Randall, he lays down every single
nappy
day.
poos.
He loves the nappy and of course, once he got acclimated to having better sleep at night, he went back to like laying down.
I can always bust a nap out.
Day. But yeah, you should definitely.
Yeah, check it out. I think you'll be a good candidate. It was just funny. We were watching one of those strongman shows like a month ago on A&E, the one about Shaw, the strongest man in the world. And they were all traveling together. They're doing their strongman competitions for the show, and they're reenacting incredible feats of strength through history. And they're all sharing a hotel room. They're all 300 plus monsters. And they're like, all right, night, night. And all of them have their CPAPs beside everyone. I mean, if your neck is big enough, any doctor will tell you to get one. Because if your neck is...
Just anatomy.
My neck, I wear...
requires it.
My button-up shirt is a 19 and a half or a 20.
And it's still tight.
And it's still tight around my neck. So my doctor is like, I don't care if you're waking up or not. You could die in your sleep just because your trachea could collapse under the weight of the... neck meat that you have and your traps pressing on your fucking neck. So check it out. But glad you're on the road to recovery with your nose though, because we got to have you up to full speed on the Big E karaoke.
I know.
We got to get some car karaoke's going again. I haven't done one in 2 weeks.
I know.
I'm so good at it. I mean, I'm clearly the best singer of the group. And I'm saying that facetiously. Sure. I'm the worst of the worst, which is what makes it great.
Jody and Michelle are
great. They're actually really good.
Talented singers, yeah.
But those aren't fun to me. Like those are like, oh, look at these talented fuckers.
Songs,
yeah, but isn't it better to watch me butcher a song and not be uncomfortable doing it? Because it used to be one of my biggest fears. Was singing in front of people. So it really helped me conquer that monkey, get it off my back.
Conquer the monkey? Is that a new saying?
I conquered that monkey. Yep. Well, all right, let's wrap up and get out of here, baby. We got an hour. So
I got to go night-night.
Nothing but love for everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us on YouTube. We'll make this happen more often. Check out the Civilized Creatures Entertainment Network. Shout out to Big E Karaoke. Check them out, too. Untrained Eye. Hashtag no offense. The Facklers, Jen Fackler should be going over the edge, I think. Soon, any day now.
I think it's this weekend.
And there's still time to donate and support. Check out her Twitter feed for details. It'll be in our show notes if you want to donate to a great cause and see something really cool. So, other than that, we'll talk to you sons of bitches later.
Bye.
Uncle Randy knows you goddamn.